When should a man leave his wife? Divorce means you are legally ending your relationship with your spouse. So let's rephrase. When should a man divorce his wife? When you divorce her, everything you are responsible for will be terminated. Your duty to support her, your duty to protect her, your duty to provide for her, your duty to sexually please her. These things will no longer be. Way back in the day, when a man found something indecent or displeasing about his wife, he would divorce her. In the Bible, the word says if you divorce her for anything other than her sexual immorality and remarry, then you commit adultery. Now we know that people divorce for many things. Men, not so much as women, and also not for the same reasons. That's why it's important to know when a man shouldn't stay married to his wife if these things I'm going to talk about are happening in your marriage. When God talked about sexual immorality, He knew that only a few of us would be able to understand his words. It's also important to understand how other things related to sex affect sexual morality. But when most of us speak or write, we don't use the term sexual morality or sexual immorality. To understand, morality means being fair or doing what's right. Sexually refers to anything related to sexual activity, including actions, behaviors, feelings, or traits connected to sexual desire, arousal, attraction, or behavior. So for those who thought that sexual immorality was only having sex with someone outside the relationship, the information in this video is going to correct that and potentially change the way you behave. So let's not get lost on the topic at hand. The video is about when should a man leave his wife. And most men who can no longer deal with their wives want to be able to maintain their salvation and righteousness so that the Lord will still smile on them. So fellas, in order to make sure you are making the right decision, your wife has to be in violation of these things I'm about to talk about. But before I give the details, keep these facts in mind. Your wife, she does not have authority over her own body. Instead, she yields to her husband. She cannot deprive you of sex unless you both agree or she's praying. If she ain't busting it open for you, you're already in the clear to get a divorce without feeling guilty about the decision. So fellas, what are the things you love about your wife that connect to your sexual desire, arousal, and attraction for her in order to initiate sex? What are those things? And to be fair, every man has his own things that get him going. It's important that you be fair to your wife and communicate these things to her before marriage so she can maintain the intimacy. But for most men, when it comes to sexual desire, it's her image. Her appearance plays a huge part when it comes to sexual desire. Your wife could be in violation of sexual desire by neglecting her appearance. Lack of sexual desire brings sexual immorality. For some men, when it comes to arousal, it's her ability to seduce you. The combination of her appearance and behavior turns us on. Your wife could be in her feelings and not want to seduce you. Again, she is in violation. This brings sexual immorality. A woman has an excellent skill of being attractive. Your wife could let herself go and dismiss the necessary discipline to maintain her health and appearance. Her lack of appreciation for your sexual desires and appearance expectations puts her in violation. She is destroying all sexual connections within the marriage. This leads to sexual immorality. Fellas, if your wife is in violation of sexual immorality and you are continuing to dwell with this woman, after watching this video and being aware of the truth, she is no longer at fault. Your suffering is now self-inflicted unless you do something about it. To the men who don't put up with a combative woman who deprives you of sex and neglects her image, these are men of standards and self-respect. And your behavior will be witnessed by those who need to see an example of leadership and direction amongst other men. Because we are all brothers. And if we are all on code, we can stop this behavior. And to the men who are staying with an unworthy wife, do you know what lies ahead? Ask yourself, if she ain't sexually pleasing you, if she is not loving you, who is sexually pleasing her? Who is loving her? You know, most women today determine whether they will leave or stay based on their individual needs being met. Women today no longer believe in sacrificing their own happiness for the sake of holding matrimony and family because their happiness isn't based on that. Their happiness is based on a lifestyle they desire, being able to indulge on things without accountability or consequence, and being able to be fully accepted and fully appreciated and placed on a pedestal simply because they are women. So fellas, have pride in being an outstanding man. Do not waver for neglection or disrespect. We are leaders amongst our peers. In order to protect the sanctity of man in today's society, we have to not only keep the word of God, but we must live by and enforce standards.